Hi, I'm Hannah Wallace and welcome to FinextraTV for Sibos. Calling into our virtual studio now is Paula da Silva, Head of Transaction Services at SEB, and we're talking about ESG and green supply chain finance. So Paula, without further ado, welcome back. It's good to have you on.
Thank you very much. 1 year since we met last. Really good to be here.
That's right. It's gone by very quickly and looking forward to being face-to-face next time. But for now, let's talk about ESG and green supply chain finance, a really interesting topic. And I want to begin by examining the amazing amount of growth we've seen in green supply chain finance and what we're going to be looking at in the next 5 years. So can you tell us, what are we seeing here and maybe a bit about why?
Now, we are very bullish in SEB about green supply chain finance. We believe that customers with their agenda that is now being really concrete, that they will embark on this. But of course, it's a long supply chain often. It's potentially changing after the pandemic as well, maybe more regional rather than sometimes global. So there is a lot of turmoil in the area. But when we look at the plans they have for the next few years to come, they are broad and they are bold. So that's why embarking on this with the customers makes us really bullish on the product growing substantially.
All right, so I can see that SEB is one of those at the forefront of this movement, but how are you preparing to transition to a working green supply chain finance model, and what advice would you give to those doing the same?
No, but it's about, again, becoming concrete. What KPIs do the customers want to achieve and when? So where do they start a transformation journey and how can we support that? Because it's not from the inside of the bank, it's from the outside, right? As customers say, okay, I want to achieve this and that by year so-and-so. If you work in reverse chronological order, you're going to see that, okay, maybe then we need to start with this piece, that piece. So it's about metrics. It's about the ambitions of the bank as well to transform the portfolio. And it's about the customer's own merits to actually achieve this. Not all have those plans, but those that do and are concrete, that's what we go after. So, and consumers are demanding this, right? So it's a transparent supply chain all the way through that we see happening. And in banking, we can actually support that. It's such a good feeling.
Yeah, you're in a good position there and some very good advice weaved in as well. And now I know you wanted to talk a bit about the role of green guarantees as well, didn't you? So what is the role of green guarantees and also green accounts in creating a compulsion to participate and also further grow green financing for the future?
So we are putting quite a lot of, I shouldn't say pressure, but really incentivizing product managers to look into their portfolio. So we have, the cash management with the cash pools and accounts and so forth, deposits. How do we make that green? And of course, to allocate the resources to that area. Supply chain, how do we make that green and work with companies that can actually help us transition and measure the green? And also in trade finance, when it comes to guarantees. So all projects that can be considered green, they should have a green guarantee attached to them. And we have to separate this out. So we continue to measure the portfolio and its greenness, if you want, over the years. But we are extremely engaged in project finance already, which is with green aspects, be that wind farms or anything similar. Then, of course, the guarantees, we have to make sure that those qualify as green as well, for our customers' purpose and for ours.
Mm-hmm. Well, as I said, SEB is at the forefront of this movement. So it was a really good chance to get your perspective on this, Paula, and looking forward to catching up further down the line. But for now, we'll leave it there. So thank you very much for calling in.
Thank you for having me.